Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new Hijomeatman news video. And today we're going to be talking about Joan Mir, one of the probably the most unluckiest riders in the Austrian Grand Prix. You know, the second Austrian Grand Prix, the Styrian GP, I do believe is what it was called. And obviously, you know, if you watch the race, he in the first half, you know, the first actual race, he was gone. He was going to win that race at 100%, well, unless obviously he would have maybe crashed later on or something, but, you know, albeit if there was no mistakes, he was going to take his first Premier Class win and Suzuki's first win in a little while. And obviously when we saw, you know, race 2, we had that red flag, Maverick Vinales obviously having to jump off the bike because of the no brakes. 220 odd kilometers an hour he jumped off. Pretty frightening stuff. Obviously pulled out the red flag because the air fence went pop, so obviously whenever that happens, you know, a red flag comes out. So when we had another race, and you know, a sprint race, 12 lap dash, pretty much the same kind of story as the Grand Prix of last week. You know, two kind of different races. You know, we saw a whole load of riders slap on some new tires, some riders switch tires completely. You know, we saw Jack Miller, for example, you know, he went with the soft combination. So, you know, we saw a whole load of variety, but then when it come down to Joan Mir, he literally didn't have any front tires. He didn't have any fresh front tires. He did put in a new rear tire, I do believe, but the front tire was the same one from the first Grand Prix, and we saw it was graining up. We saw he didn't have the same grip levels and the same pace or anything, you know, compared to the first race. And it's very unfortunate because obviously he was on his way to his first ever Premier Class win, and also he got a little bit robbed because of the red flag situation. Obviously, it can happen to anybody. You know, it happened to Paul Espargaro last week. You know, he obviously got that red flag when he was leading, and then the second race didn't go to plan whatsoever. So it's a pretty much similar story with Joan Mir, but it was just very unfortunate. It does seem to be like, you know, every time a Suzuki looks like they're going to win, just something goes wrong for them. Either the rider crashes, maybe gets knocked off, or, you know, something like this happens, and it is unfortunate. You know, Suzuki definitely have built a great bike this year, and it definitely suited Austria and Joan Mir to perfection. You know, a lot of riders said that Suzuki was probably the best bike for Austria, and Joan Mir was definitely showing that, you know, showcasing that in that Austrian Grand Prix, not only in this race but in last weekend's race, obviously getting his first podium. Yeah, it's extremely unfortunate that he couldn't you know, get his first Premier Class win. It would have been a very dominant win if everything had gone to plan for him, and it would have been great to see. But unfortunately, you know, race 2 didn't have a fresh front tire, didn't have the pace, and couldn't quite get the result that he probably would have wanted. But you know, he didn't do bad either. He got good points, but he would have definitely been disappointed considering, you know, in the first race he was leading. He had the race under control pretty much. He had over a 2-second gap, whatever it was, and you know, to get that took away from you, it is pretty hard. It's a pretty sad thing, and obviously when you have to start another race with competitors that have fresh tires on and you don't have a fresh tire, especially around Austria with those kind of hard braking points and the different elevation and all that, you know, it's pretty spooky stuff. But either way, he's still done a good race, still got good points, still outdone his teammate, even though he had that graining front tyre. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Joan Mir can do throughout the rest of the year. He's definitely, you know, found something this year in MotoGP. He's definitely took a lot of step forwards, and he's going really well, and he's a very interesting rider. You know, he's a very quick rider. He's adapted quite rapid to MotoGP, and it's going to be very interesting to see what he can achieve when we do return to racing in Misano in a couple weeks time, 3 weeks. And yeah, definitely a rider to look out for. And you guys, make sure you leave it down in the comments. What is your opinions on the old topic? Poor Joan Mir getting his first Premier Class win took away from him. But you guys, that's it for today's video. Leave a like and subscribe for more content as always, and I'll see you with some brand new videos very soon.